All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Here we are. It's Monday. It's fun day. I got Andrew first on the mic. Let's pin up there. Friday's training is Margins of Millionaires. Buy low, sell high. I'm going to teach you the secrets to being a millionaire. That's buying low and selling high. Jake, good to see you. Both Jakes, Jakey twins. We sound great. Let's pin up there. David at dmeltzer.com. Go ahead. You can request the training from last week on the playbook downloaded today. It's featured on Spotify and Entrepreneur. You can join my text community if you want any guides, exercises, or my book. All 949-298-2905. But you can email me, David at dmeltzer.com. Love to see you this Friday. Free training, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. The Margins of Millionaires. How to buy low and sell high. Samir, thank you. It's my 23rd anniversary, and I want to reach out publicly and tell everyone that, as my kids would say, I am not sus. What's the word? Simp. That means I'm whipped over my wife. Yes, you can join me live if you like. Very good. All right. Viewer Blake, rookie, good to see you. All right, questions got up there fast. Here we go. Thank you. If I want to start a sports agency, how do I go about getting into the market and attaining my first client? Well, that's the key, right? Two things in order to be a sports agent. One, get a client. Two, keep a client. So I would work within the context of the spheres of the influence, making sure that you meet parents, aunts, uncles, friends, coaches, convincing them that you be the best person to represent someone. And then with that support of the power sponsorship of that spheres of influence network, go ahead and make the ask of the athlete and see if you can't, number one, represent that client, and two, keep that client. Looking for mentorship as well, finding people that sit in the situation that you want to be in. I mentor tons of people. David Marino, one of my other business associates, he mentors people. All the guys at Rep Ones, obviously, and Athletes First and CAA, all are wonderful people that mentor and help people learn about what it's like to be a sports agent, etc. Anyway, we got Mike Studs, producer John, on the line today. Hopefully he'll be coming on. Remember, Friday's training. Hey, Trevor, good to see you. Trevor Moad, one of the great Occidental Tigers out there, teaching people how to live their life in the flow without resistance, avoid shortages and obstacles. You didn't know you could move fastest when you're in neutral. Everybody says you got to be in seventh gear now. That's not true. You move fastest when you're in neutral. Trust me, trust Trevor. He'll teach you how. Anyway, Danielle, good to see you. Hello, everyone. All right, let's roll through a few more quick questions. Andrew, where in your life do you think you learn the most? When I'm in the learning zone. So where in my life I learn the most is when I'm looking for the light, the love, and the lessons in everything I do. That's where I learn it. Every single activity that I have is where I learned that. We're going to go live. John Kilmer here at John Kilmer. He is a producer of the famous Mike Stud, Duke's finest graduate. You all thought it was Zion. Nope. It's John Kilmer and Mike Stud. What's going on?
What's up, man?
Hey, you got all sideways on me. I love it. What's
I
going
got
on?
it right now.
That's so cool. I'd like to. I want to do it the other way. How are you?
Perfect. I'm good. I'm well.
Awesome, man.
How are you?
Well, thanks for coming on. I'd love to. A lot of people love Mike and what you do, but give me a little bit bigger idea. I'm sure there's a lot of things you got going on. What you're working on right now?
We keep busy with the podcast. That's kind of like my anchor right now, what I'm doing over here. But besides that, a few of my personal projects. I'm a music producer. I work with a few other artists and independent filmmaker. I'm working on my second feature film.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I've done a bunch of different films and TV shows and still in the game myself. And a lot of people, I think, have, just like sports agency, they have a misguided perception of what it's like to be an independent filmmaker. And today, especially, there's so many different variables involved. What do you see as the skills and the knowledge needed in order to be an independent filmmaker?
You have to be able to, communication really, because you're the king of the ship. If you're making a movie, you're the director, the producer, and you're running the show. Man, you got to be able to communicate with people. I'm sure it's the same, in any business at that sense, but especially like in that creative realm, there's so many egos involved, and it's just about, keeping everyone together and keeping everyone happy and keeping the communication alive.
Absolutely. And even as a communicator, one of the things when I first got involved in film, I was working with a guy, Lee Steinberg, and he said, Dave, I want you to executive produce this film. And I was like, Lee, I didn't go to film school. I don't know anything about film. What are you
Hmm.
talking about? He goes, executive producer raises money. I see one of the biggest misnomers and voids in filmmaking is the capitalization of the product. So,
100%.
a lot of, right. And you, because working with Mike, working on the podcast, working on all the different projects, I think you get the capitalization part of what's going on. How, have you been able to fund your projects, which I think is the most critical of all parts of being a filmmaker?
100%. If you want to make your own films, raising capital is the biggest barrier because without that, you can't do it. The first time around, I did a Kickstarter with crowdfunding, and I raised around $20 or $30, which was a good start for my first movie. This time around, I'm not a huge fan of asking people for money. It's like I don't know why. It's just a part of me, I guess. So I came up with a more creative way to use the constructs of music streaming revenue and a way to raise money for my film because it's a way that people technically don't have to give you money just by clicking a play button.
Yeah. So, one of the interesting things too is that there's then once you take money too, there becomes a conflict between the money and the creativity, right? And one of the nice
Hmm.
things about creating film today is that through my career in film, we can literally shoot from a telephone, I think, an independent film. If you have, the right
Yeah.
editors, right? And the expense has gone down tremendously on how you can shoot and where you can shoot. And it's only
Hmm.
going to get less expensive, which means the point of entry becomes less and less, which means the amount of content, competition, and part of it's going to go beyond the filmmaking. It's going to be the marketing. So
Hmm.
first it's raising the money, then it's actually coming up with a quality piece of content, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
then the third component would be the distribution and marketing of it. So most filmmakers, that's a lot of specialty capability and skills that are needed to actually
Hmm.
create a film that anybody watches. What are some of
Hmm.
the tricks that you've seen to market and distribute your film?
Well, what's great is the fundraising aspect. You start to create a community based around it, and that almost helps fuel the marketing of the film, in the process of making it and even when it comes out, because you get people kind of a part of your journey. I'm lucky because, we have such a large fan base of our own, and we can kind of, use it to create like this community where people kind of get behind it. And then once the movie's out, they kind of traveled with you through that year and a half journey where you kind of already have like a core fan base of people dying to see the movie. So that's why I love the fundraising aspect, and I kind of like I suddenly become a politician standing on my soapbox telling people my great ideas and why they need to be a part of it. And that almost like helps a lot with the marketing towards the end. I've seen that with my first film. It helped a lot.
And how did your career evolve? Like when you went to college or didn't go to college, what was your aspirations or your vision of yourself when you're 18 years old? What were you planning on doing?
I was one of the annoying people that knew what they wanted to do when I was like 13 years old, which I know is not the case with most people. But like I got my first camera when I was 13, and I made like you imitate like jackass videos with your friends, and and then that develops to wanting to go to film school, and then you go to film school, and then so I knew I wanted to do independent films, all along, and in the process, I've done a lot of music videos. I do the podcasts, but ultimately, I love doing independent films, and it's all what I wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah, that is amazing. And how do you decide on what to do a film on? A lot of people, I would say there's a million great ideas out there, but taking it to market obviously is essential. But because there's
Mhm.
a million great ideas, it gets really hard to narrow one down into what you want to make because you only get so many projects to make. How do you decide
Mhm.
on what topic or what, to do the movie on?
They say to write what you know, so like I'd say a lot of my movies are kind of based around like male camaraderie, and I've since I was in college up until now, I've always lived in a house with guys. I've always lived in a house with dudes. Even now, I'm 32, I still live in a house with dudes. So
And
there's just
Steve,
some,
the
and
dog.
Steve the dog, yeah. So there's just something so special about like the male camaraderie and the bondness of just guys you surround yourself with a lot, and especially guys that like to have a good time, which is the people I surround myself with. So ultimately, everything I make is kind of based around that. You can call it buddy comedies or whatever you want to call it, but I kind of love like the male bond of just you know getting out there and wanting to like have a good time with your buddies, more or less.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem. Today's my 23rd anniversary, and when I quit playing,
Congratulations.
thanks. When I quit playing college football, and I missed the locker room the most, and
Oh
I was
yeah.
the same way, man. Male camaraderie, all the dudes. But as you got older and got married, and you had 150 guys in your backyard every weekend with a Jaeger tap, it wasn't really good for kids. It wasn't good for kids in marriage. I had to evolve and learn to actually
Yeah.
enjoy what I do. So, but half of me, there's something inside of me, the little Dave Meltzer going, God, man, I miss those days of just hanging out with Steve the
Yeah.
dog and the rest of the dudes, just saying what you want, doing what you want, in a locker room atmosphere. But there are positives, lights, loves, and lessons and everything from living with all those guys. And, we've gone through such accelerated change, especially in the last few months, but over the last 10 years, you've been free, single, in a guy situation. What's the number one takeaway that you've gotten from, because I know you're always creative with the movies, the podcast, the musics, all the things. What's your number one takeaway that you've learned through the journey so far?
Um, just in the work I've been doing. What have I taken away from it?
Or life,
Um,
you've had a unique experience, man. You guys have a great time up there. So, especially when I'm there.
yeah, man. So we went to about a year ago. We went to Joshua Tree for like a little bit of a vision quest. I'll leave it at that. And it turns out my spirit animal is a jellyfish. And I looked up what that meant. What does it mean if your spirit animal is a jellyfish? And really, it means someone who can adapt to environments and someone who goes with the flow, no matter what obstacles are in your way. You kind of go with the current and you go with the flow. And I've kind of always, prided myself on being that way and being able to adapt in any situation and to, especially now, like, our whole lives kind of got tipped upside down, the last 6 months. And, it's, you can sit around and you can, bitch about it, or you can, go with the flow and figure out ways to, make the best of a bad situation. And that's kind of how I always been, I think. So, that's how these guys are too in this house. So it's, that's just something we love to do and love to be like.
You tell Mr. Stud there and the rest of the boys that next time they go on their next trip, no pun intended, that Uncle Dave would like to join you as a spirit guide. I am the ferocious Buddha, the great spirit guide of all spirit animals, and I would love to come on your trip with you guys.
That'd be, yeah, you can be our Sherpa.
Exactly, the furry Sherpa. Anyway, where can people find you, man?
All my socials are at John Kilmer. For raising money for my next film, you can find it all. Actually, I won't get too into it, but anyways, to raise money for my next film, I created sleep therapy albums on Spotify and Apple, kind of like the Calm app, and it's a way you can listen for a long period of time while you're sleeping, and it really racks up the streams, which is what we're using for the revenue to make the film. So, if you want to support, it's called The Snoozers. On Apple and Spotify. You can go to badboysasleep.com, and if you listen to my sleep albums at night, it helps contribute to my next film.
Yeah, switch over. I know pray.com is doing a ton of media on the number one prayer in sleep app. Now go to the Snoozers, man. Check out John. His stuff will work for you. Live in peace, live in neutrality. Trevor Moad was on here. We know what you're doing, brother. We appreciate you. We only want the best. I'm going to go give a little bit of cash for the boys as well. I'll be at that premiere when it launches. So congratulations on a great idea.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got man. Have fun.
See you, man. Thank you.
Especially stay out of Steve for me. He's my favorite.
I will. Give him a pet on the head for you.
All right. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. John Kilmer, check out. He has a FundMe page for his new project. His projects are awesome. Unique perspective, of course, there with the great Mike Stud, and produces his podcast and music. And I love good talent. I love guys just pursuing their potential, pursuing what they do. Let's take a few questions. Let's see here. Who is the number one sleep coach you would recommend learning from? Dr. Meeta Singh. She's the NLB. She coached the Nationals to their World Series with 4 road wins. All NFL guys. She's amazing. Meeta Singh. She's my sleep coach. working with a lot of different sleep companies, weighted blankets and Sleep Number and variety of great bed and sleep stuff. I'm a huge third of my life is spent sleeping. I want to do it the best I can. How do you find your spirit animal? Go to podcasts, read books, go trip, do whatever you need to do. There's a variety of different ways to do it. Just be more interested than interesting. Be safe, be legal, and have fun. But everyone has a spirit animal within them. Know your energy, know your frequency. It helps you to pursue your own potential. What did the transition from Lee's to Sports One marketing look like? Well, it was very fast. So Lee had his challenges and his disease, and Warren flew us up to a Monday night game and made a proposal of creating a company that was based off of the special projects that I had and expertise that I had within the context of those projects. So we went from representing athletes, celebrities, and entertainers to media and marketing. And it took about 4 months in total to get it up and running, and our office was open within 6 months. And we were profitable and happy and healthy and pursuing our motto of making money, helping people, and having fun. Don't forget, Friday's training is the margins of millionaires, how to buy low and sell high. Find the margins of millionaires on Friday. Email me to join us at david@dmeltzer.com or join my text community at 949-298-2905. All pinned below. You can check it right there. And go ahead, learn the margins of millionaires, learn how to buy low and sell high. What's the best lesson you've learned through mentoring? The best lesson I've learned through mentoring is that, I have a lot of great advice and I should follow it. So many different times I'm on a mentoring call, whether it's private group coaching that I do, one-on-one business advisory, one-on-one life coaching, whatever it is. And much of the time I'm giving and channeling advice through me. And I'm like, ooh, that's really good advice. You should actually do that. I think that's the number one lesson is do as I say, not as I do. And I learned more from coaching than anything else that I've done. So here we go. Get to the next question. If you started a business on Amazon or eBay, what would you sell? I would sell what I could buy the lowest and sell the highest. I'd find something that's oversold and then sell it and have it overbought. I literally would look and do my research on where those margins of millionaires were and how, and really negotiate on both ends to find the value in buying it and find the value in selling it and creating the margins of millionaires in between. Remember, there's always something to buy or sell. And the better you are at buying at a fair low price and selling at a fair high price, the better it is. I believe in reverse engineering my sales. So I do most of my research on the sales side, right? I really do my research of interest on finding what is selling, how it's selling, and how much it's selling for, and how fast it's selling. And then I go out and know exactly what I need to buy it at. And I confidently offer what I want according to the margin of millionaires that I want to make. Reverse engineering and connecting the dots backwards is the safest, easiest, and best way to make millions of dollars. But it takes a lot of interest, takes attention plus intention to create those coincidences of those margins of millions. But you can do it. It's out there in every single industry. Diamonds, music, rocks, doesn't matter. Paper, it's been done for years. And the guys who know how to do it are the women and men who make the most out of it, make the margins of millionaires. What you have learned most from 23 years of marriage. The most important thing is forgiveness. Forgive yourself and forgive others. Don't take yourself so seriously. 23 years is nothing. I'm living between the limitless and the infinity and just an instant and a second. And so, look for what you want in your spouse. Probably the best way to say it. When I look for the best in my wife, that's what I get. When I look for the worst in her, that's what I get. So I always look for the best, the light, the love, and the lessons. And I will tell you, I am blessed because I have the perfect wife for me. Just extraordinary woman and great mom and best friend and extremely beautiful. So I'm blessed, and it took years to appreciate it, but I do appreciate it and appreciate her, and very, very grateful. So happy anniversary, my dear, like Sid B said there. Thank you. Keep them coming here. What can I do to make sure I am being accessible to others? Ask how you can be of service to others. And believe it or not, ask them if they know anyone that can help you. Be a student of your calendar. Do things now. Find the productivity, accessibility, and gratitude in everything you do. The more productive you are, the more time you have for others, The better questions you ask of how you can provide service or value to others, the more accessible you are to others. The more you offer to be of service and value, the more accessible you are to others. The better question is, how do I access what I want? Most people naturally will provide service or value to others if asked, or even asked to do so. But most people don't ask, how you or someone else can help me. Their egos will not allow them to ask for help. But to live in radical humility, to provide value, to create a vacuum to fill with what you want, according to your values, and voting for what you want, not for what other people want, not for what you don't want, but for what you want. You can do that. And those are the tips and the trades of being accessible to others. How can I prove myself to my boss? Do not prove yourself to anyone but you. Learn to love you. Be the best you. What difference does it make what your boss thinks? Right? The truth vibrates the fastest. Prove yourself to you. Live your best self. Right? It will come out. Allow you to come out. Trust me. The truth comes out. If you only concern yourself with proving yourself to be your higher self, to be your best self, everyone around you will appreciate you. And it may not be your boss, because it may be someone else's boss that notices, and then you end up in a better place, right? When things are not working out the way that you want them to work out, maybe it's pushing you to a better place, a place that you can learn more and be more aligned with what is within your potential and your values. So don't ever prove yourself to anyone else. Prove yourself to yourself, and the truth will vibrate the fastest, come out, and attract those that have the best of yours in mind. Don't worry about who surrounds you. Worry about what surrounds all of that. What are you looking towards most this week? Anniversary tonight. I have friends coming all week into town, business associates, friends. My wife's birthday is on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to her. Here in the most beautiful place in the world, in South Mission Beach in San Diego. I just wish that we didn't have all the rules, because I would do a massive meetup. I can't wait till they lift all the rules and we can have a massive meetup where they close the hotel lobbies, or they put out the beach where you need microphones to hear me. That's what I'm looking for. So anyway, but for now, we'll do this virtually, answer the questions that come up as they come up, and we'll get that. So Jake, sure, your question's stuck there. There we go. And hold on, the phone is freaking out. There we go. Questions. All right. What's your thoughts on cryptocurrency? So I don't know a lot about it. So right now what I'm doing is research on it. I'm trying to find the people that sit in the highest levels that are doing well, and asking them a ton of questions to learn about cryptocurrency, because it's one of those things I just don't know a lot about. So I'm trying to learn about it. Where would you invest 100K in 2020? In myself. I would invest it in myself, save it, invest it in building my own community, invest it in what I'm doing. And I would absolutely, I think $100,000 today should be $1 million to 10 million. If you come to training, you'll learn, man, buy low and sell high. The margins of millionaires, you can take that 100 grand and learn when and how, with time and risk tolerance in your favor, to turn that into 10 times to 100 times earnings. You can do that when you buy low and sell high. That's what I'm training. So just if you want to learn the margins of millionaires, how to buy low and sell high, how to reverse engineer, connect the dots backwards, find the value in what you do, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, or text me at 949-298-2905. Not a problem. Athletes portraits. Hello, right below Jake. Gotta love this. Here we go. Can't wait for this Friday show. Me neither. It's one of my favorites. Hey, look at all that cool stuff behind you.
What's going on, David? Hey, happy anniversary.
Thank you so much, man. You got some really cool pictures behind you. And
thank you.
I dig your art and the stuff that you do. What's your favorite piece that you've done?
Man, that one right there. So I grew up idolizing Mark McGuire and have some really fun stories, following him with my dad as a kid. And so now that I'm working with Topps on Project 2020, getting to paint him and make this card was just, it was something else, man. And then that card also did very well. It made the cover of Beckett, which for people in the sports industry, this is At least for me, it was like the Bible growing up. So that one's definitely my favorite. It's also cool because Mark, after it dropped, found the card through an article that was on MLB.com and reached out, and now we're friends. So
yeah, well, the other side is, not a bad business right now. I'm in a huge group with some serious players, Gary Vaynerchuk and Lewis House and Dan Fleischman. And I've never got so many different DMs and WhatsApps about cards. And meanwhile, there's a saying when I'm looking at the card business right now and what you're doing, my dad used to always tell me, don't get so busy you forget to make money. Meanwhile, I probably have like $5 million worth of cards locked away that I am too busy or active to go look. The only card that I love, I got a PSA certified Dave Meltzer first pitch card at the Angel game.
Nice.
I should have used you the art for it.
Yeah.
That'd been a great anniversary. That'd been a great anniversary gift for me. I'll give you my wife's number so she can get that made.
Yeah, man, please do. I'm serious. That's really
that is
cool,
awesome. Man. So
yeah,
anyway,
what game was that at?
It actually was a Guinness Book of World Record game. It was May 5th, and we had sombrero night, and we set the world record for the most sombrero-wearing people in one place. So we had a sold-out crowd at Angel Game on May 5th, 2 seasons ago, and I threw the first pitch out, which was funny because, I love Trout, I love the Angels, but the Padres are really my team. And I got to throw the first pitch out at a Padre game, which was truly my bucket list. And I very rarely get nervous about things. I speak in front of stadiums, and I was so nervous, man. At Padre, because like all my family and friends, everybody was watching at my hometown. Yeah. It got a little bit hairy, but I didn't bounce.
Yeah, man. If I got that opportunity, I'd have to practice for a long time just to make sure I can get the ball to home plate.
And where would you throw if you could throw, what stadium would it be at?
Oh, man, honestly, I'm from the Bay Area, so either the Giants or the A's. I'm a fan of both, and I know that's kind of rare, but either of those would be awesome.
Well, I got some killer pictures because that's all we could do back when. I worked for MLB before law school in 1990. I went to every single stadium, and I spent a ton of time on the field, batting practice, in the locker room, taking old school pictures, though. I have all those of McGuire, Henderson, the Bass brothers, and Canseco. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, seeing those guys in the locker room, all of the steroid talk, it was like, why is everybody talking about steroids? Just come into a locker room when these guys don't have their shirts on, and we can verify what's going on. You don't have to test anybody.
Right.
And I do. I like Mark for that reason is, it pissed me off in baseball, to be honest, the whole steroid thing, because I've been on the inside of baseball for a long time. It's not like everyone from the commissioner down didn't know what was going on. They used to call trainers and be like, you may want so-and-so not to be there. We're going to have a random test. I mean, it was such BS. And then, to arbitrarily go after guys because they didn't want to tell the truth really made me aggravated. And it was like, you know what? If I was the commissioner, I would have just said, look, from April on, if you're caught testing positive from April on, the past is all the past. It is it's a history of baseball. Your records are the records. But from April on, if you're caught once, this is what happens. If you're caught twice, this is what happens. If you're caught 3 times, this is what happens. Yeah. It's just too, I think, arbitrary to penalize guys. I mean, if you were around, right? I mean, it was some guys get persecuted, some guys don't. And, who's to say, like, Aaron Boone hitting, 40 home runs at second base. Now, he didn't set any records, but he made millions of dollars because he was hitting home runs like that. Like, where are we going? Anyway, what's your favorite part? I get to side tangents. Yeah. It must be so much fun because you're obviously a baseball fan, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think so I grew up a baseball fan. I had season tickets to the A's with my dad. So, like, we were watching Mark come up from the minors, and that was awesome. And I kind of honestly fell out of baseball for a while, probably around the age of, like, 15 or so. Because I started playing like t-ball and then baseball, and it was just a little too slow for me. I was like ADD kid everywhere. So I played soccer, started following that, played lacrosse in college, still follow that. And so I kind of getting involved with Topps for the Project 2020 cards really brought me back into both collecting the hobby and then also baseball now, which is exciting to have back. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey. Like, I never would have thought, like, as a kid that I would be 35 years old painting people that I like idolized as a kid, and making art and connecting with them, which is awesome. And also like on the art side of things, I didn't ever think that I would be a full-time artist. I always enjoyed it as a hobby, but it was always just that. And I didn't decide until I was age 30, stopped my corporate marketing job to pursue what I love to do, which is paint. So it's like a dream come true, man.
Yeah, you can manifest whatever you want. It is amazing. I remember when I went to Lee's and he asked me, what are some of the projects you'd like to work on? I said, I'd like to represent the Clemente family, because, for me, Roberto was the man, and what he represents is so much of baseball, as much as Jackie Robinson, to me at least. And then, even furthermore, I wanted to represent the Pro Football Hall of Famers, market the brand and help build what was the old just juicer. I wanted to help with the Hall of Fame for the very reason I think you're enjoying what you're doing is like, those guys are my heroes, right? The Aikman, the Moon, the Young, the Dan Foutses, all. And so to be able to have that inside camaraderie, collaboration. I mean, I had Brett Favre today on the playbook, and, over the last 2 decades, we've become friends. And I'm still, there's that little boy in me, which I'm sure you have when you were painting Mark, right? You're like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here with Brett Favre, right? Like, as much as he's your friend. I mean, Warren Moon's my business partner. There's some nights that I'm out with him going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to dinner with Warren Moon. This is so weird. And meanwhile, I've been his business partner for 15 years. And I'm still like, sometimes the little boy going, pinch myself. This is incredible. All right, just to finish up, what is your pinch yourself moment with all the cool stuff that you get to do right now? What would you say that whole pinch yourself or one of them would be?
I mean, I would say like after the Mark McGwire card dropped in the MLB article, like I got an email from Mark out of the blue saying, hey, this is Mark. I saw the card. I watched your YouTube video. I heard the story about, how he and I had met as a kid. And like, he's like, dude, call me up. Let's talk. And like, we had a 20-minute conversation and it was like, it's surreal, man. It's still, I get goosebumps even just talking about it. And so I think that's one of them. And then also just like the whole scope of the project that I'm working on with Topps, when I came into it, I was really excited, but like, I don't think anyone had any idea like how big it would be and how many doors it would open. And so still like every single day I get to wake up and work on this project. I'm like, I feel like I'm living in a dream. Like it's a pinch yourself moment every single morning when I wake up, man. It's pretty.
There we go. I love that, Blake.
I got Clemente coming up, which is very exciting.
Oh, that is super cool. I'm gonna have to get one of those for sure. That's my ultimate. So, Blake, I always say when we focus in our skills, our knowledge, and our desire, then these types of things occur. And you are living proof of that because you had gone through your journey about developing skills and knowledge in the corporate world, always having a desire to work in sports, didn't even know it was baseball, right? And then all of the coincidences in your life because you were paying attention to improving yourself and pursuing your potential as a business person and an artist. And, here you get your intention. You've always worked hard, done the best you can in the context. So that one, what I call a touch of favor, how did that present itself? People ask me all the time, like, how'd you run Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment? And I said, well, I was helping a friend. He had a reality show with Magic Johnson, and they asked me to negotiate. I wasn't even a real lawyer, right? I was mostly an investor type of guy, a finance guy, and from the phone technology side. And one of my buddies, like, best negotiator I know is David Meltzer. So that's a skill. And he's like, I need your help negotiating with Lee Steinberg. And I like jumped at him like, Jerry Maguire? I'm gonna and 40 hours later, I'm the chief operating officer of the firm, and 6 months later the CEO. My life changed with one touch of favor. With the Topps deal, what do you consider that touch of favor? Like, how did it come about?
So it's crazy because I can actually trace it back to like 3 or 4 specific events. And I believe, just like you said, you can manifest anything you want. You believe in something enough, you're willing to put in the work, you can get it. Literally, I can take my Topps contract that I got and I can trace it back to 4 individual paintings that I did for free to get my foot in the door. And I think that a lot of artists struggle with like working for cheap and not having the confidence to price, but then not want to work for free. I'm the opposite. I'm like, if I'm selling it, it's full price and it's exactly what I think I'm worth, or I'll do it completely for free just as a favor. I'm not going to discount my work for anyone. And so it's literally like it was a painting that I did for Paul Rabel from the Premier Lacrosse League, which Topps saw, and they liked it, so they invited me to the project. I met Paul because I worked in football, which was a free painting for CJ Anderson for my first painting there. And before that, it was a free painting for Howie Mandel, randomly of all people, that got me an intro to basically get in with CJ Anderson. And so it's like I could trace it back to 3 paintings that I did. And at the time, I mean, I always think what I'm working on is important and fun, but like, it's crazy. Again, it gives me goosebumps to think like just making those 3 choices to do a little bit for free, just to like show people, you know, my art. It's like, it's crazy, man.
That's awesome. In our words, Clyde, my first anniversary message this morning was from CJ Anderson. Paul
Really?
Rabel, one of the first podcasts that I ever did, a good friend of mine as well.
Unbuckled chin strap.
And even know Howie as well. So very, very, very cool. I love telling people that because I think, you know, that idea of when we expand and accelerate our universe for what we want, it creates this vacuum. And when we think about it, you know, these coincidences, the luck, they happen to the people that are abundant, the people that allow things to happen, but also they do the work. And there is a balance between that. What's your last piece of advice that you can give for people that are trying to manifest their dreams within the sports business, especially?
I think it's never too late. I think there's this stigma that you get to this age where like you can't change careers or you can't get better. And I just I don't believe that exists. So, I mean, I didn't pick up a paintbrush seriously until I was 30. I never went to art school. And, you know, here we are 5 short years later. I'm doing exactly what I want every day. And I think that I wish more people would take chances when they're, you know, what they would consider over the hump.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I was in my mid-30s. I was only a customer of sports, working for big companies and raising money. Never once, since law school, even thought about working in sports. Dreamed about it, being a sports agent when I went to law school, but knowing how difficult, you know, I really wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. And in 2 days, 48 hours in my mid-30s, never too late, which also, by the way, everyone who's listening, it's not too late to build your community. And I know Blake could talk about building his community. It's never too late. You know, you think about, oh, it's too late. I'll never, you know, be a Gary Vee or never be a Paul Rabel or, you know, there's billions of people. It's still growing. If you have the right frequency, you will build a community around your dreams. And when that community creates a collective consciousness, it also helps materialize what we want, man. I will have my wife send you my card and
absolutely
make her pay. No freebies for the Meltzer family. Make her pay. But I'm looking forward to my at least 24th anniversary gift, having an official Blake card and painting for me. So it'll be perfect.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much.
All right, man. You need anything, you just reach out. Congratulations. Super stud. You can manifest anything you desire. The great Blake. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Take it easy. Bye.
Awesome, man. Athletes Portraits, by the way. Check it out. You can see it right there. Being on the cover of Beckett's like being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, especially as hot as trading cards are. It was funny because I was on there. Gary just posted a TikTok video about it. It's pretty funny. Anyway, let's answer a few questions. Got a few minutes. Today is my anniversary, so this is the last thing I'm doing, an activity I get paid for, an activity I don't. Been following you for a few weeks and learned a lot. You're appreciated. Hey, keep on following, but have you come to the free training? Have you watched the free training? We just dropped the pitch competition. If you haven't got the pitch guide, how to perfect pitch it, please email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll send it to you. And congratulations again. Athlete.portraits. Blake will check it out. The 2020 Tops Project. He's killing it, and his stuff is so cool. That's why it works. Anyway, join my text community, 949-298-2905. Please share and invite your friends. It's all free. Did your success come from one route, or did you have to start and reset and progress? So I believe this in my life. I'm happy where I'm at, and I want better. And I'm going to angle towards what I think is better, but I have faith that I will end up somewhere even better than that, as long as I keep angling, keep paying attention and giving intention to what I want. And so I've never stopped, but I've angled and I've I've evolved and I've learned. Why? Because I have 3 different lenses that I look through. One, productivity, how much value I can provide to others, how much service I can provide to others. Accessibility lens, how accessible am I to others, and how am I accessing what I want? How am I receiving? And then finally, most importantly, the lens of gratitude. Everything I do, I learn to love. Why? Because I seek the light. I seek the love, and I seek the lessons in everything that I do. And I know that I'm always connected to the light, the love, and the lessons. I just got to seek it and find it and access it. I'm always connected to the light, the love, and the lessons. I just have to seek it, find it, access it. And that's what we do. All right, let's take another question here. We're enjoying my 23rd anniversary. I love you, Julie. Awesome. Julie is awesome. How do I continue to be consistent with working towards my goals when feeling down, depressed? All right. First of all, take a step back, be a ferocious Buddha. Ask yourself, why do I feel down and depressed? And take care of that. Find the light, the love, and the lessons. Remember, you are living in between limitlessness and infinity. You're just an instant. That's all you are. You are not the sun. You're not even a ray of the sun. You're a particle of a ray of the sun. So don't take yourself so seriously. Go ahead, find the light, the love, and the lessons. Enjoy what you do. Enjoy the consistent every day, persistent without quit pursuit of your own potential, not the potentials that others want for you, not the potentials that you think that others want for you, not the potentials that you think will please other people, but your potential. Vote for what you want, not what for other people want, and definitely don't vote for what you don't want. Because if you vote for what you don't want, if you focus in on what you don't want, if you focus in on what other people want, that's what you're going to get, and you're going to end up depressed. You're going to end up with void, shortages, and obstacles in your life. Don't do it. Too short. I had too many questions before, but I've been meditating and I don't have them anymore. Go do. I love it. All right, that's what meditation will do. Plateau and grow. Do not live the myth of Sisyphus. Don't push a boulder up to the top of the hill, just have it at the bottom of the hill at the end of the day. What's the best way to set yourself apart from the rest? Make yourself equal, then make yourself better. Work within the context of your own capabilities, your skills, your knowledge, your desires. See how your capabilities are synergistic or supplementary to what's doing well, what you want to do, or what's stable and what you want to do, or what you think where the margins of millionaires will be, where you can buy low and sell high. We're going to teach that on Friday. The margins of millionaires. Buy low, sell high. David@dmeltzer.com. Pinned right below. Or join my text community, 949-298-2905. Training is free. Don't worry. If it's free, it's me. No, it's for you too. What is the best way to find yourself again? Take inventory of your values every day. Personal, experiential, giving, and receiving. Take that inventory. Use a weighted balance system according to the day that you're living in order to focus in on what's in reach today. Okay? And use those values to know your what. What is the 3,000 car sales the fastest? Google it. There's a great thing that'll help you find and reverse engineer what cars are selling the fastest within every price range. Also on Car Gurus, you can see time on the market and search by time on the market and see which ones have the least amount of time on the market. How to be present and focused on your vision at the same time. Well, they're all connected. So to be present means we do things now. We're a student of our calendar. We're prioritizing by what's most important. Paying attention and giving intention is the focus on what the coincidences we want. When you take inventory of your values, ask and attract, student your calendar, do it now, practicing ending fear, you can not only stay present, but you can focus on the vision of your short-term goals that will angle towards the long-term goals, which you know what? That you have faith that you'll end up with even better than what your vision is. Because we know it's not what surrounds us, it's what surrounds what we surround, right? It's not what surrounds us, it's what surrounds us. I'm halfway through your book. It's awesome. All right, thank you. All right, last question before I go celebrate my anniversary with my gorgeous wife, 23 years. I appreciate you so much. Last question here. What are questions to ask yourself daily to check in with yourself and your goals? The questions that I ask myself is why? So understand, why am I not at my highest potential, my highest frequency? Why do I not feel good at certain times? Asking myself to stop, drop, and roll in the direction I want by asking myself, why do I feel this way? Right? I have control of my mindset, so I can say, why do I see things this way? I have control of my heart set, my feelings. Why do I feel these things? Why do I feel this way? I also have control over what I think, say, and do. So I can say, why do I think this? Why do I do this? I constantly ask myself why, being more interested than interesting in myself by asking for the life, the love, and the lessons within myself. I can't give what I don't have, so I constantly want to improve myself, receive as much wisdom as I can, receive as many lessons and as much light as I can, and most importantly, especially on my anniversary, as much love as I can, because I can't give what I don't have. And I am love. And I need to learn to love myself before I can love others. And when I learn to love myself, I learn to love my wife, my kids in a much different way, a much more meaningful way. You cannot give what you don't have. Everybody, please come to the Margin of Millionaires training for free. Come learn how to buy low and sell high on Friday. It's free. Just go to david@dmeltzer.com. Text me to join my community. 949-298-2905. If you want to catch the replay for the trainings, it's on the Playbook, my podcast, the Playbook, Top Entrepreneur Playbook podcast. You could check it out anytime. Check it out. Download. We have last week's training, all the trainings. It's featured on Spotify. So go to Spotify, check it out, the Playbook. You can join me anytime for free. But everybody, most importantly, especially my wife, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.